you're going to form an LLC, sort of. Technically, your IRA is going to form an LLC. And this LLC is going to be 100% owned by your IRA. Now, it can be owned by yours and your spouse's IRA separately. She can own 51%, you can own 49%, guys. That's the way it should be, right, ladies? Okay. Or whatever you say it is. So each of your IRAs can have an LLC, or you can just use one, and therefore any deals done in that LLC equally get split between your IRAs, which is probably the right thing to do. To form this LLC for your IRA, you're going to have to take the following steps. Step 1, open an IRA. And that would be a Roth IRA, which is the only IRA you want to open, is a Roth. And you are all eligible. And if you think you make beyond the maximum income, anybody in here think they're not eligible for a Roth? Okay, then I'll say it. If you make above the maximum income, which I don't know what it is, $170,000 net operating income now, at the end, if your bottom line is above that, you can open a traditional and then transfer it to a Roth as of 2010. So if that happens to be you, you open a traditional IRA for $1,000, then you transfer it to a Roth and pay the taxes on that $1,000. And now you got a Roth for the rest of your life. A Roth means it's tax-free forever. And then you better hope Republicans get elected in 2016 so they don't come take it away from you and change the rules on you. Well, no guarantee they won't do that anyway. Because this country's got to raise some money, doesn't it? I mean, some real money, not printed stuff, but some real money. Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they are looking at this IRA stuff. All right, so first I got to get an IRA. One for me, one for spouse. Then I open an LLC naming my IRA as owners in whatever percentage. Then I apply for an EIN number for that LLC. And when I get an EIN number, then I open a bank account for that LLC. The LLC. Not your IRA, the LLC. Now, beware. On the operating agreement for this LLC, you don't sign it. You need to send it to your IRA administrator and let them sign it for your benefit. They're signing it for your benefit of your IRA. You can't sign it. You can't own that LLC. If you own the LLC and your IRA is involved, it's self-dealing. So your IRA needs to own that LLC, and there's an operating agreement, so your IRA needs to be the members of that operating agreement. Is everybody clear on that? Hello? If you have an LLC, you need an operating agreement, right? All right. The operating agreement has a place for members to be. Those members are your IRAs. Your wife's IRA, your IRA, each 50% member. And so you let Quest or Equity Trust sign that thing for your benefit, for your IRA's benefit. You don't go putting your signature on that operating agreement. Okay? Now, in addition to that, you cannot be the manager of this LLC. Why? Because this LLC controls your IRA's money. And if you're the manager, that means you control your IRA's money. Is that not the definition of self-dealing? So have somebody else be your manager. And no, it cannot be anybody in your linear descent. It can be your brother or sister. It can be anybody you know. It can even be your employee. Because manager doesn't own anything. They're just on there as manager. Who owns the LLC? Your IRAs. So anybody you trust can be your manager. Keep in mind, your manager is the one that signs the checks. So you do want to trust them. Because you see, from as soon as you get this LLC open and a bank account open, now you send a direction of investment to your third-party administrator, and you direct however many dollars you want to the LLC to fund it. On that direction of investment, it'll show you're investing in an LLC. Your IRA is. I'd send them $1,000 as an investment in the LLC, and if you send them any more than that, I'd just call it a loan in the LLC. However, I don't know it matters in this case because there's be no tax consequences no matter what happens, so I'm not sure it even matters. I mean, you could send them $50,000 to open the LLC if you want to, out of your IRA, if you have it in it. So now, what have we got? We got an LLC with a bank account and with money in it, owned by IRAs.